Hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm a mom of 4. I love to homeschool, I love to read books, and that is what I talk about on this channel. So welcome. So today's video, I am planning on recapping what I read in the month of June. It's definitely been a bit of a heavier month, but it was really good reading. So let me jump in and just share with you what I read. Okay, to start with, I read something that's not exactly a heavy book. So I read Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This is the first Riley Sager book I have read. I have since picked up Home After Dark, and I'm planning to read it July this month. So this was excellent. So this is about a girl who's kind of down on her luck. She lost her job, she lost her boyfriend, she's like couch surfing or something like that. And so she reads an ad, I think in Craigslist, that there is a need for an apartment sitter at this really fancy, ritzy apartment complex in New York City. The Bartholomew, I think, yeah, the Bartholomew. So she goes, she interviews, she gets it, and it's almost too good to be true. Like, she gets paid a ton of money to just stay there. But there's some weird rules, like you have to stay there every night, no visitors, no talking to the other residents, all of these things. It's a bit strange. So I gave it a 4-star. Loved it, super entertaining. I would say it's very fast paced, it's very creepy, like you really feel it. So she's like alone in this apartment, and when things start to happen, you just kind of feel her aloneness. Like you're like, oh my gosh, I would be so scared in her situation. So it is so good. It is so well written. And the end, I didn't see coming. I thought I had an idea. I wasn't really sure, but it didn't go there. I was just really impressed with the writing style and the storyline. And so I'm definitely picking up more from Riley Sager. And so this was a really good one as well. So this is Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. So this book is about a girl named Morgan. She lives in a town that considers her to be unlucky or like cursed in some way. And they always blame things on her. So her life has not been very good up until like I think her 11th birthday or 12th birthday, something like that. And then things start happening. There's this man that comes and he takes her away to this place called Nevermore. And then he enters her into this like magical competition for this magical school. And he believes in her and he knows she can do it. She doesn't really know why he believes in her so much, and she doesn't really know her own capabilities. So I really, really enjoyed it. It is likened a lot to Harry Potter, which I could definitely see. I could see some of the similarities with the magical world, magical school, girl who doesn't know her own abilities, didn't grow up there, so she's kind of an outsider. So I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I'm listening to the second one on audiobook currently, Wondersmith. The next book I picked up is Maru of the Winter Caves by Anne Turnbull. So I picked this up because my plans are to read this as a read aloud for my kids this upcoming year when we do our prehistory unit. This story has to do with Stone Age people, and it has to do with this girl, Maru, and her family. They get kind of stuck. And then she and her little brother have to make some hard decisions as to how to best save the family, because things like weather, with no shelter, no houses, no huts, no nothing, can be very devastating. So there's definitely some harder parts to this book, which I had heard, and that is why I wanted to pre-read this, so that I could be able to maybe warn my kids that, hey, this is going to happen. It's okay. They are characters. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. It did a really good job of helping kids see what it could have been like to live during that time frame, what it could have felt like, the things that they cared about, the things that they struggled with, and how different that was, and trying to imagine ourselves living in these ways or living on the plains without a house. But that's normal. They didn't have houses. So I really liked this book. The next book I want to talk about is Science and Faith, Friends or Foes by C. John Collins. So this is the big book. It's a huge, densely written book that I read most of this month. And this was really the book that helped me tackle kind of those science and faith ideas. I learned a lot. I wrestled with a lot of ideas. I thought about it. We chatted a lot about it. The aim of this book is really to address some of the conflicts, quote unquote conflicts, between science and faith. He didn't really pull any punches, but what I loved about his approach is that he was very methodical. He was very much so like, well, here are all the different ways people think about this one topic, and then he'll go back and be like, and that didn't really hold water, or that did, that made sense. So he kind of used a lot of reasoning. Throughout the whole book, he is challenging you, me, the reader, to be like, does this reasoning hold up? Is their argument, does it make sense? Does it line up with the evidence that is currently found in our scientific community? Or is there a lot of guesswork? Or is there a lot of like, well, I suppose it could work that way, and we have yet to fill in some of those gaps? So he does a really good job of that. And he does have kind of his stance on where a lot of these things fall out. But what I also liked is he doesn't hold it hard and fast. He has kind of a humility to how he holds it. He's like, well, this is what I believe to be true. For this reason, this, and this. But I could be wrong. He does a good job of really just challenging you and teaching you how to think critically and what to look for. So I really loved it. I really, really, really liked it. And like I said, I skipped a couple chapters in the middle, but not because they're not good chapters, but because I was kind of laser pointed on some ideas that I wanted to answer for myself, that have more to do with kind of Big Bang, Genesis, creation, evolution, intelligent design, geology, radioisotope dating, things like that I was just very interested in and intrigued by, that I know some about, but I wasn't sure. So excellent. 5 stars. It's me from the future. I forgot to mention one important thing. So I was talking about this book, Science and Faith. I am planning on doing kind of a what I learned set of videos. With these wrap-ups, I want to keep it a little bit more general, like what did I think, how was the writing style, do I recommend the book? And then with the what I learned, I want to kind of go through, like, say, creation or Big Bang, and I want to go through the different theories, go through the different books and their stances and kind of where I end up landing. I want to do that in its own video or a set of videos, because I know a lot of people might not be interested in it, but some of you really are, and so I'm going to dedicate videos to that specifically. So I will talk about it once I get to a place where I understand where I'm at better, but I'm still in the exploration phase. So anyway, I just wanted to say that was coming. So back to the books. I have one more book for the month. Okay. The last book I read this month, I thoroughly enjoyed as well, and that was A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles, or Towles. This book was about a man, a gentleman, so of the nobility. So he was a count in Russia in the early 20s, and he did something. He had to go live in this hotel that is basically right across from the Kremlin, and it's kind of in the middle of Moscow. And so he had to live there, and he could not step foot outside of the hotel or they would shoot him. And it was a lifetime house arrest. So when I picked this book up, I was just not sure. I was like, well, it's literally about this guy in this hotel for his whole life. He never leaves. I was like, how interesting could that be? But it was so interesting. It was so surprising. I just kept wanting to read it. I kept coming back. I found his character to be really interesting. Like, there was a number of storylines that kind of came into the hotel so that his life was a little bit more interesting than every day living in a hotel. I liked it right away, but I liked it even more because I did attend a Zoom call with the author, Amor Towles, and it was hosted by Katie over at Life Between Words, and I'll link her below because she did an excellent job of hosting. And he got to just share a number of things about his creative process of coming up with a count, of why picking a hotel in Russia, just a lot of different things, kind of his unique timeline that I just found so fascinating. And it was just so much fun to hear from the author in kind of the middle of reading it, because I didn't finish it quite by the Zoom call, which I would have preferred to have, but I just really wanted to go anyway. And I just really enjoyed it, and it made the reading of the last quarter of the book even better, because I just felt a little bit more connected, and I understood a little bit more. I had kind of like insider info, if you will. So really good book. So I gave this a 5-star. I enjoyed it immensely. So that I read those 5 books, and then I'm kind of in the middle of a number. I'm in the middle of Wondersmith. I'm in the middle of reading this one, which was the Bill Bryson, A Short History of Nearly Everything, which I'm getting a lot of good science information. So I read the first couple chapters on kind of the Big Bang Theory and things like that. So I'm really enjoying that. I'm just working my way slowly through it. And then I'm working through White Rage, which I'm enjoying so far. I mean, enjoying. It's a hard read. It's a very convicting read. It's a very unsettling read. And so I'm glad I'm reading it. I'm still in the process of reading it. I feel like I have to take that in bits and pieces so I can process it adequately. Otherwise, there's just too much information. So anyway, that is what I did this past month. It was a really good month. It wasn't like I read a ton of books, but I read a lot of meaningful books and a lot of really good entertaining books. So I think it was a win-win-win across the board. And please comment if you have read any of these books, especially if some of these that require a little bit more thought. I would love to hear your thoughts on them. And so yeah, thank you for watching, and please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you like what you see. Otherwise, I will see you for the next video.